Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Smith from Backbench Coder. So in the last video I've added the music in our JavaScript app, and in this video I'll be controlling the sounds, this browser volumes, and then we'll be implementing this start auto music, which is basically an implementation of set interval method. Right now this is a fixed sound. This is a fixed sound, so we need to control this. So let's go to our code, and then you can see this slider here, this input range slider. We need to control this using min and max value, right? Now here's an important note, guys. The volume of the browser audio or the HTML5 audio varies between 0 and 1. So it can be 0.5, 0.6, 0.8. But in this case, I'll be putting min value of 0 and max value is 100 so that we get a smooth sliding effect. And then I will divide this value with 100 so that we get a value between 0 and 1. So let's do a min is equal to 0. So what I mean, so then max is equal to 100, right? So if I go to our index.js, and here we need to listen to this input whenever this value changes. So how can I select this? Using id. Nice. So volume slider is the id of our input. So let's do it here. So document dot get element by id, and my id is volume slider, and then put this into a variable which is, let's say, volume slider or slider. Nice. And then we need to listen for any kind of input on the slider, right? So how can I do this? I can do it using slider dot on input. So this event will be occurred whenever the user tries to put some value or changes the value using the slider. So slider dot input, and let's put an arrow function here which will be triggered whenever the changes occurred. So this on input event will send an event object to our callback function, and then from this event object we can extract a value. So event dot target, which is our element, and then get the value. So dot value, and then we need to divide it with 100 so that we get the value between 0 and 1. So, and now just store it in a variable, and let's create a variable which is audio volume, var audio volume, and by default it is 0.6. Nice. So now just overwrite the value which is audio volume is equal to event.target.value by 100. Nice. And now we need to change the value of the HTML5 audio, right? So where I am creating the music, so I am creating the music in play music function, right? So here, so before I play the audio, I need to change the volume. So audio dot volume is a property of the audio object. So audio dot volume is equal to audio volume. Nice. So let's see. So this is now 0.6, and then if I reduce the volume, nice, it's working fine. And if I increase the volume, nice. So now let's implement this start auto music. So what I need to achieve here, so basically when this element is clicked, when this button is clicked, it should create a random music from these buttons. So basically we need to create an array of all these buttons, and then we need to pick an element randomly from these arrays, right? So how can I do that? So it's a tricky part. So before I go into the code, I just want to show you how can I pick a random value from an array. So if I go to the JavaScript console, nice. So clear this. Okay, fine. So let's create an array which is arr is equal to, so we have an array of 4 elements, WASD, and now let's see how can we create a random value in JavaScript. So using math.random random. So this math.random function gives a random value between 0 and 1. So to get a value between a specific range, we need to multiply with that number. So let's say we want a value between 0 and 6. So in this case we need to multiply it with 6. So math.random into 6. Look at this. Now it will give me a value between 0 and 6. And now we need a float value because we need to pick a element from this array based on that index, right? So we can't use 5.47 or 5.33. So to get a floor value, we can use math.floor and then this math.random function. So math.random into, now in place of 6 we can use the length of the array, right? So array dot length. Nice. Look at this. Oh error dot length, come on. So this will give me a value between the 0 and the length of the array. Nice. So that's all. This is basically the random index of our array, right? So we can use this as an index. So if I go to arr and then use this as an index, look at this, it will give me a random value. So this is exactly what we are going to implement. So go to a JavaScript code, just copy this snippet. Nice. And then create a function, let's say start auto music, const start auto music. Nice. And then nice. Now create the array, let's say letters, and then this will be all our buttons. So W A, basically all the letters of the buttons, W A S D J K L. Nice. And then we will paste that snippet. So in place of ARR we will replace it with letters. Letters. Now it will give me a random value from this array and we need to store it. So let's store it in const current key. Nice, variable name. Nice. And then use the make sound function, right? So make sound and then pass the current key, and we also need to animate this. So animate is the function name and current key. So that's the advantages of function, guys. Nice. And now we need to trigger this function whenever that auto music button is clicked, right? So we need to add an event listener on this button, on this auto music button. So let's do that. Pick the value using its ID. So util button auto. Nice. So this is the ID. Get the value. So const auto music button. Nice. Document dot get element by ID. What is the ID? This is util button auto, and we got that element in our auto music button. And now add the event listener, which is auto music button dot add event listener. What kind of event? Click. And whenever this click happened, I need to trigger this function, and this click event will give me an event object, and we can access this in this parameter, but we don't need that anyway. And now we just need to trigger the function, which is auto music, start auto music. Nice. So look at this. Let's see if I click on start auto music. Nice. But we need to generate it in a continuous way, right? So after a certain interval it should create another random value, and it should generate a random sound, and then it should pick a random value again, and then it should generate another random sound. So let's do that. How can I do this? So how can we do this? So whenever we need to execute a snippet or a code snippet after a certain interval, we will use set interval. So let's see how can we do this. Okay, so we need to pick a random value after a certain interval, right? So I will wrap this code in my set interval. So set interval, the syntax is the same as the set timeout. So it will just put these 3 lines of code here. I'll explain this just a second. So I need to call these 3 lines of code after around 100 milliseconds or 200 milliseconds. Nice. So what it does, it basically fires this function, this callback functions after this 200 milliseconds. So let's see this. If I click on start auto music, look at this. Nice. But we need to stop it. How can I stop that? Oh, just refresh that. Nice. So how can we stop that? So we need to somehow stop this interval loop. So luckily this set interval method returns me the ID of the specific interval, and we just need to clear that. So let's do that. So basically let's create a global variable which is const auto music ID. Nice. And then just get the value here, auto music ID. And guys, we can't use const here because we need to change the value, so var. Nice. And now whenever this is stopped, we need to clear the interval, but now we need to find a way to stop it. So how can I do that? So basically we need to toggle it between auto start music and auto stop music, right? So let's create a boolean variable, var auto music on, and by default this is false. And now whenever this button is clicked, whenever this auto music button is clicked, I need to check if the music is on or off, and based on that we need to perform some specific functions. So let's see. And if auto music is on, we need to stop it, right? So let's say clear interval. This is a set interval function, and we just need to pass the ID, which is auto music ID. Else we need to start the auto music, so else just make this inside a brace. So what I am doing here, I am checking if the auto music is on or not. So if this is on, we need to clear this interval, which is basically stops the interval loop, and we also need to change the boolean value, which is auto music on, to false, right? And if this is not on, we are triggering this start auto music function, and then we need to change the value to true. Nice. Let's see. So if I click on start auto music, nice. If I click on start auto music again, nice. Okay, fine. And now we also need to change the text inside the button to show that the music is on or off. So let's do this. We have the button, right? So auto music button is our button, and then we can change this using inner text. And if this is on, we'll stop this using clear interval and change the text to start auto music. And if this is off, let's copy this, paste this, stop auto music. And I will also add a little animation to show the toggles between the states. So just add a class name, which is auto music on, and a box shadow inside the buttons to show a little neumorphic effect, and also add an important tag to override the previous box shadow. And now again we need to change it dynamically using JavaScript. So whenever this button is clicked, whenever the music is on, add the class which is auto music button dot class list dot add, and then the class name auto music on, and just copy this. And whenever this is off, I need to remove the button, so I remove the class name, remove the button. Nice. So let's see this. If I click on start auto music, look at this. Stop. Nice. Look at this effect. So that's all for this video. In the next video I'll be implementing this change theme button, which will be an interesting part because I'll be showing you how you can change the root variable using JavaScript, and what's the importance of CSS root variables in theme changing part. Okay, so yeah, that's all. Bye.